All right. Welcome back, everyone. We're heading into game two here of Team RS versus Team Stoic in the CEVO Week 7, I guess, Team League. I was going to say Qualifier Cup, but no, it's just a big team league put on by CEVO, the basically a community well-known for first-person shooters. I was going to say the first-person shooter community, but that's not true. They're branching into StarCraft and things like Dota and things like that, too. So really great to see. This is Ice from L2SC TV, and I'm joined by Basement Bynum StarCraft here for L2SC TV, and we're just trying to get a couple of VODs out here before the playoffs, get a few games up on the YouTubes, and get everybody just a little bit more StarCraft. Drumz getting the northeastern spawn here as the Green Terran. He is playing for Team Stoic, and in the southwestern spawn is Maker playing for Team RS. Maker is up in this best of 3, 1-0 right now. His Team RS is up one game. It's the first team to 3 wins this. So Maker winning this one would put a pretty good little advantage for Team RS. So we'll see what he can do here as he's throwing down his racks right now. And then it looks like Drumz doing the exact same thing. So we'll see probably a mirror build starting out here on Zelnaga Caverns, but we'll see which way it goes as Maker was able to utilize Banshees to a little bit more of effectiveness, I think, in the last game using that 1-1-1 build.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm really hoping that we don't see the same kind of rock, paper, scissors play that we saw last game. I mean, both players going identical build orders. What does that leave you? It leaves you unit composition and micro, which is pretty much rock, paper, scissors. And that's what actually happened last game is Maker went for paper and Drumz went for rock. And unfortunately, Drumz lost because he went for the rock, and the paper was able to go around the rock, the paper from the Maker. So anyways, now Marines coming out from both players. No gas quite yet, and it is at 16 supply, so 17 is normally you would see gas from a 1-1-1 build. So we'll just see what happens. Drumz has his gas already, so... And there we go, finally, Maker getting his gas as well. Just went over to pan over to his base, saw that gas really quickly. Maker now scouted the base already of Drumz. What does he see? He sees a barracks, 2 supply depots, and some gas. So pretty much nothing that will give away the build of Drumz quite yet. Drumz has enough money for a factory. Just waiting for him to put it down. There we go. Finally putting down the factory. No such factory coming from Maker. Ooh, finally! No more rock, paper, scissors. We see Maker going for a 1 rack expand. Although this is risky. This is risky business because with a 1 racks expand, you pretty much have no military production capacity. He is putting down a reactor, which is typical because he wants to double the production capacity of that barracks, which is good, as well as getting a second barracks. So not bad play here from Maker. It's just a little bit risky, but it is good because it might pay off here for Maker because Drumz is continuing to go on that 1-1-1 build, and he is getting the second gas, so he won't be getting any Hellions. He probably will go, maybe even mirror what his opponent did last game and go for some early Banshees. And there we go, Starport going down for Drumz. So not bad play at all from both players, but I really like what Maker's doing right now and getting a third barracks, interestingly enough.
Yeah, it looks like Maker going on to a Marine King Prime Prime build here, getting the racks and reactor up. Just going to power his way with Marines. If you have siege tanks, I build Marines. You think they don't work against each other, but they do. Marine King Prime proved that against with his series versus Jinro. He was taken apart by MVP and the GSL final. Unfortunately, spoiler, sorry guys, but it's been a couple days and you should be watching GSL finals in real time. But it's definitely a very Marine King Prime-esque build here, as the second command center will no doubt get down there really quickly at orbital command. This gives him a very strong pushing ability. Hellion out for Drumz, that will be a good scout, but really good wall from Raker at the top of the ramp there. He'll have a double reactor tech lab, as tech lab is getting stim underway. Only need 1 gas. This is an extremely mineral-heavy build, as you can imagine, just being Marine only. Drumz is going to be in trouble here if he doesn't actually start getting some siege tanks or some beefier units out. At least Cloak Banshee, something. He needs to get something more techish Marine Hellion is actually pretty easy to counter for this build once the stim pack is done. He is going to have pre-igniter actually, so that's a very good response to the Mass Marine, but still Hellions are not strong enough versus this kind of Marine style. A couple Marauders for Maker being thrown in there as well, so that's going to give him a huge advantage when he does see the tanks, and possibly getting those slow on the Hellions to allow him to kite. So more Hellions coming out. Drumz way late on his command center. That's just going down right now. And it looks like Drumz is going to have a little bit of challenge on his hand, as this base of Maker is already saturated. Turrets going down, preparing for Banshees that are not coming. No air units coming for Drumz other than a medevac. So he's going to try to, that's the plan, Hellion drop with a pre-igniter. So 3 Hellions loaded up into that medevac. It's heading towards the east right now, but I think with the Marauders out, Maker's not going to have a trouble countering this, and once those Hellions go down, a counterattack for Maker here is going to be a pretty devastating event.
Drumz, I think at the last minute he decided, after getting that second gas, he decided, wait a minute, I'll go for a Hellion drop. All of a sudden, I think his hands are a little bit clammy, he's a little bit sweaty, decides to go for a Hellion drop, and actually while he was building those Hellions, his gas was shooting through the roof, so that's the reason, people watching, don't get angry at me just because I said that if you have 2 gas, you shouldn't go for Hellions, and it just shows it right there. His gas was absolutely through the roof at that point in time, and he does have these Blue Flame Hellions here, but unfortunately only killing 1 Marine and a couple of SCVs. Really minimal losses here from Maker. Looking quickly at the units tab, 30 SCVs to 28, so yeah, about 2 SCVs possibly deaths there for Maker. But that's another reason why you shouldn't get that gas, is just because if you get that gas, it's going to delay your Hellions. And I mean, when you're trying to go for a sneaky Hellion rush build, what's more important than timing? And he lost that timing window. As soon as I saw that first Hellion come out, I was like, wait a minute, those Hellions are going to do nothing. They're really, and as you said it, the unit composition of Maker is just way more superior. I mean, sure, Marines are light units, and they will take a lot of damage from Hellions, but they're just so cheap, as well as they have so much DPS, and Hellions are not like an armored tank that moves really quickly. They're a little nimble unit that takes a lot of takes damage quite easily, and they die so quickly from any fire from really any type of unit. I mean, I would like to. I think a landed Viking versus a Hellion, a Viking would win.
I think it does win, actually, because the Viking is armored, and it does pretty decent damage. Yeah, that's the thing. I like Hellions in big numbers versus things like Zerglings or Marines, but you need a beefy backup, and Drumz just doesn't have that at the moment. He's got a couple tanks on the low ground. He will be escorted by Vikings, so a tank Viking getting 4 racks. Drumz is getting more supply depots. He's reaching near his block, but Maker's getting a good position. He has blocked off his hidden, his hidden entrance there with supply depots. Really conscious of that. Lots of Marine Marauders, just a huge tech army there, as you can see. Non-tech army, but a huge bio army. 2 medevacs coming out now for Maker, so he was doing a very good job at just kind of crawling his way up there. Scout factory for Maker, making it to the middle of the ground there, middle map, so that will be used just as a scout. Maker trying to see what's going on here at Drumz's base, and hopefully he catches that siege tank shot. Knowing he's up against siege tanks, he does know he's got the advantage here, so he is going to push out. Knowing that he lost Hellions, medevacs, he can't have more than 3 or 4 siege tanks. So Maker knows that he's going to push out here. That force is very substantial. It's spread out correctly, as we saw with the Marine King Prime games. Very easy to deal with siege tanks. It doesn't matter if how many siege tanks they have. If this is spread correctly, he will be able to do it. He is going to elevate her up here try to break up the siege tanks as the Scout Factory reaches the front here of Drumz' base. Scout Factory just goes down, so it looks like Drumz is going to be aware that something's going up. But Maker really good about unloading there on the high ground. Stims the force, doesn't move forwards. There they go. So he's going to have to deal with this on the high ground. Medevacs here going to be the advantage as he gets a bit of a positioning here on Drumz. Drumz bringing the siege tank in. There you go. Marauder's still up, but they're down. And it looks like at the same time Maker cleans out the front of the base here of Drumz. Very good 2-prong attack, very conscious, and that's going to put Drumz way behind us. All he's got left is a handful of bio and 1 tank. Yep. So it's going to be pretty bad for Drumz now.
A very kind of Drewby style here from Maker. Drewby is known for having that 2-pronged attack with the medevacs and then having the rest of the units come in the front. Another confrontation here between Maker and Drumz. Drumz looks to be in a little bit of trouble And this is where the problem stems from. The problem stems from those Hellions. Is that you saw consistently after he went all of a sudden switched to that Hellion play as if out of nowhere. A, they were late, so they wouldn't have done too much damage to Maker. B, he went for the drop, which did nothing. And C, it was kind of a last minute switch, and you can clearly see what that caused. Is looking at Drumz' economy, he was consistently over 300 minerals and 300 gas, and there was a point that we almost had 1,000 minerals saved up there. And looking at Maker's base, I mean, now you see, yeah, he's 485, 591, but at the point that Drumz was almost at 1,000 minerals and 500 gas, Maker was sitting below 100 on both. So it kind of shows you the difference between these two players. Is Maker's just a little bit more refined, a little bit more confident. I think if Drumz just stuck to his plan, he would have been a lot better, because then he would have had a vision, a focus in mind, instead of switching to these Hellions, which I think was the cause for his downfall.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Those Hellions not able to keep it up. So.